Hello friends, so I welcome you all in this GATE classes initiated by All India TechCube faculties. So this is my second lecture. In the first lecture we have already seen what is complex number and what is complex function, and also we have solved two problems related to these basic concept. Now in this lecture we focus on analytic function, Cauchy-Riemann equation, right? And then further we discuss about the necessary and sufficient condition for the function to be analytic. Also we discuss about the partial derivative. But before that I just again repeat the same thing. I will focus on more problems rather than the definition, because in the definition we have already seen many times. Parallelly I will cover these definition, but more focus on the problems. So first I just discuss what are the problem that I will discuss in today's lecture. So this is the first question which has been asked in GATE 2010, and it is related to the analytic function, right? So first I just tell you what is analytic function and how we can show any function that to be analytic, right? So this is the first question. The second question is basically the modulus. Yes, we have already discussed about the modulus of the complex number. So this is the second question which has been asked in GATE 2010 in civil branch. Now the third question that I will discuss again related to the analytic function. So this is the third question that is asked in GATE 2007 in mechanical branch, and again this is related to the analytic function, right? So this is the summary of the today's lecture. Now first we try to understand what is analytic function, and before that we need to know what is differentiation or derivative of the complex function. So first I just tell you what is the derivative of a complex function and then move on the analytic function, right? So first we just see what is the meaning of derivative of complex function, right? Derivative of fz. So first we see this definition. So you know any function fz is said to be derivable or differentiable at a particular point when, right? So you just write a function fz is said to be differentiable at a point z naught. Any function fz which is said to be differentiable at this point if it satisfy what? Limit z tends to z naught fz minus fz naught and divided by z minus z naught exist, right? If this exist, then we say that this function is basically differentiable at z is equal to z naught, right? So this is the simple definition of the differentiation of any complex function, right? So now we use this concept to understand the definition of analytic function. So I think this is clear what is differentiation of fz or derivative of fz at any point, right? At any point. Now we move on the first definition, that is what is analytic function. To save the time I just taken the image of the same, right? So now any function, when any function fz is said to be analytic, or in some time they have also asked holomorphic function, right? So a single valued function fz defined in the domain D. Let's suppose this is the function fz which is defined in some domain D, right? In some domain D. This is a single valued function. When we say that this fz is analytic in this domain, right? When defined in a domain D which is differentiable at all point of D, right? If any single valued function fz which is differentiable at all point of this domain D is basically called what? Is called analytic in D, right? So this is also we say that it is holomorphic function, right? So I think it is clear what is analytic function. A single valued function fz which is defined in this domain D and it is differentiable at all point of this domain D is called analytic, right? Now the second is entire function. What is called entire function? Because sometimes they have also asked what is entire function. Basically the question are related to these topics, right? So I will also tell you what are the mathematical condition when any function is called analytic. Entire function, right? So the second is entire function. A function which is analytic everywhere. If any function fz, first we have seen what is analytic. Now second is if any function which is analytic everywhere inside this domain, right? Everywhere inside this domain, then we say that the complex function is basically entire function, right? So there has a two things. First is the analytic function and second is the entire function. So a function which is analytic everywhere in the complex plane is known as entire function, right? If it is analytic everywhere, for example this exponential function, that is e raised to the power z, or you can say that the polynomial function, every polynomial is entire because its derivative exists at all point of the entire complex plane. पूरे entire complex plane पे हर जगह क्या होता है? ये analytic होता है, right? So this is the simple definition. Now from the gate point of view, we just see what are the mathematical condition, right? To prove that any function is analytic. So now we see the condition. So yes, for which first we see what is Cauchy-Riemann equation. So let's suppose fz is a complex function which is defined fz is equal to u plus iota v. We have already seen in the last lecture this complex function, right? So this function is differentiable at a point this z is equal to x plus iota y, right? Let's suppose this is the function, complex function which is differentiable at the point what? X plus iota y. Here you can say that z is here, right, which is a function of x and y, right? Then the partial derivative, their partial derivative means you know u is function of x and y, also v is function of x and y. We have already seen these things in the last lecture. U is function of x and y, v is also function of x and y. So what is Cauchy-Riemann equation? First, the partial derivative. The partial derivative means if you differentiate with respect to x and y, right? You differentiate this function u. देखिए यहाँ पे क्या है? Partial derivative. This means that it will occur del u by del x. In the similar way, you differentiate the same function with respect to y because u is function of x and y. So first the four partial derivative, that is del u by del x, del u by del y. In the similar way you can go through this second part, that is the imaginary part. So for which del v by del x and del v by del y, right, exist, right? First it exists and satisfy this mathematical equation, right? Del u by del x is equal to del v by del y and del u by del y is equal to minus del v by del x, then these two are basically the Cauchy-Riemann equation. So the condition is what? Del u by del x is equal to, you just see, del v by del y, right? So first we just see del u by del x is equal to del v by del y, del v by del y, and once you talk about del u by del y, it is just equal to the minus of del v by del x. Del u by del y is equal to minus del v by del x. So these two equation is called what? Cauchy-Riemann equation. So what is Cauchy-Riemann equation? How it is comes in the existence? So first, this function fz, which is, you know, complex function which has a real part u and imaginary part is v, right? So the four partial derivative exist, these partial derivative exist, right? And second, if del u by del x is equal to del v by del y and del u by del y is equal to minus del v by del x, then we say that this equation number 1 and 2 is the Cauchy-Riemann equation, right? So the equation 1 and 2 are known as Cauchy-Riemann equation. And one of the most important thing to prove that any function which is analytic, this is basically the necessary condition for object to be analytic. तो अगर कहीं आपके गेट के एग्जाम में आ गया कि prove that this function is analytic, so since it is a necessary part, you can check it by these two equation. If any function is given u plus iota v which is analytic, so for the necessary condition you can check, right, the Cauchy-Riemann equation. If it is satisfied, then necessarily you can say that that function is basically analytic, right? Now we see what is the sufficient condition, right? So we see what is the necessary and sufficient condition that a function object to be analytic is basically there has a two condition. So now I think it is clear what is Cauchy-Riemann equation, and if you look the gate problem, then most of the questions are solved only by using these two problems, right? You can just see one problem and then later on we move on the necessary and sufficient condition. So I just solve one problem how the question are asked based on this necessary and sufficient condition. Yes, this is the question that has been asked in GATE 2010. Now you see there has a function which is given if fz, this is basically z, you know, z is what? Z means x plus iota y. So it is given fz is equal to x cube minus 3x y square and plus iota phi of xy. It is given, right? And it says where iota is basically under root minus 1, you know, fz is analytic. So it is already given this function is analytic, and you have seen if any function fz is analytic, then necessarily is satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation. So it asks about basically this imaginary part, that is phi xy. So you know, I just write in this here, when any function is analytic, it necessarily satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation. In a short way we can say that Cauchy-Riemann equation, right? Any function is analytic if it satisfy necessarily Cauchy-Riemann equation. And you know, if any function is given fz is equal to u plus iota v, then the Cauchy-Riemann equation is for this function is what? Del u by del x, that is equal to del v by del y, and second del u by del y is equal to minus del v by del x, right? So this is the condition, you can say that the necessary condition. Now by this option, as we have to calculate the value of phi xy, and it is already given in this option. देखिए यहाँ पे अगर आप कंपेयर करो, So this u is what? U is basically x cube minus 3xy square. You just compare by this equation number 1. You can see here u is basically what? X cube minus 3xy square, and v is basically v, that is 5xy, and we have to find out the value of 5xy, and it is already given in these options, So now see what is the condition. Del u by del x must be equal to del v by del y. So we can easily calculate del u by del x. Now see what is, it is a partial derivative with respect to x, so its derivative is nothing but 3x square and minus 3y square, because you are differentiating this function partially with respect to x, so y become as a constant, right? Y is treated as a constant, so x के रिस्पेक्ट में करेंगे क्या होगा, 3x स्क्वायर माइनस x का 1 हो जाएगा, so 3y स्क्वायर, right? Now what is our objective? Our objective is to find out the value of what? Phi r, you can say that the v, and it is already given in the option, so you can directly differentiate. If it is equal this, you can find out the value of what? Del v by del y, and for these four options, if it is equal to this value del u by del x, right, that is 3x square minus 3y square, we can easily say that that option is correct, right? Because it is a necessary condition that any function is analytic if satisfy the what? Cauchy-Riemann equation. So if you have this function, all these four options, v is already given, or you can say that phi is given. So अब क्या करना है, del v by del y निकाल लीजिए, del v by del y or del phi by del y. So once you differentiate the first option, right, with respect to y, y के रिस्पेक्ट में पार्शियल डिफरेंशिएशन करिए, क्या मिलेगा आपको? 3y स्क्वायर, राइट, एंड माइनस y के रिस्पेक्ट में करना है, देखिए y के रिस्पेक्ट में 3x स्क्वायर, विच इज बेसिकली नॉट इक्वल टू दिस, right? So first option is discard very easily. Now the second option, we again differentiate the second option with respect to y, and let's check whether it is equal to this del u by del x or not, right? So you just differentiate this function, y के रिस्पेक्ट में differentiate करेंगे, 3 क्या हो जाएगा, 3x स्क्वायर, x is treated as a constant, y के रिस्पेक्ट में करें y का 1, और यहाँ पे y क्यूब का क्या हो जाएगा, minus 3y square. Yes, this is equal. So we can say that this option is maybe correct because there has a necessary condition only. But we also check the third and fourth option. What we can say? If you differentiate the third function with respect to y, our objective is what? We are interested to find out the value of del v by del y. तो इसको भी डिफरेंशिएट करिए, अगर ये del u by del x के बराबर हो जाता है, जो कि पहले से दिया है, राइट? सो if you differentiate this function with respect to y and x is treated as a constant, so this x becomes 0, and here y with respect to y करेंगे 1 मिलेगा, so finally you will get 4x cube, which is not equal to this, so third option is also discard. Now in the similar way you can solve the fourth option, इसको भी y के रिस्पेक्ट में डिफरेंशिएट करिए, तो y के रिस्पेक्ट में करेंगे क्या हो जाएगा, डी ऑप्शन में, सो देखिए y with respect to y, x is treated as a constant, तो x outside हो जाएगा, y का 1 and y square का 2y. Again this is not equal to this del u by del x. So in these four option, only the Cauchy-Riemann equation is satisfied by this B option. So we can easily say that this B option is correct. So if anywhere this function is given that the function is analytic, first you check necessarily that the Cauchy-Riemann equation must be satisfied, right? And easily we get the answer. There has a one or two method for the same Milne theorem, but if it is necessary then I also tell you that method, but I think this is the easiest way to find out the function is analytic or not. Yes, if there has a more than one option, maybe adopt the same. You can also check the second equation. Maybe possible in some question this second may discard the two options, right? So in this way you can solve the question very quickly in the GATE exam by using the Cauchy-Riemann equation. Now I think one more problem that we have, we already know what is modulus. So first we also solve this question and then we move on the basic definition, right? So now see, this question is asked in GATE 2010 in civil branch. It asks about the modulus of the complex function, modulus of this complex function. You know what is modulus. In the last lecture I have already discussed what is the modulus of any complex function. So first we just write the formula. What is the formula for this? So you know, if fz is equal to u plus iota v, then its modulus is nothing but what? Modulus of fz is under root u square, real part square plus imaginary part square. So for this case, in the similar way you can find out what is the modulus for this. So let's suppose fz, this is equal to what? 3 plus 4 iota divided by 1 minus 2 iota. So now see, there has a two way to solve this question. Either you directly take its modulus. So once you take its modulus, since if you gone through the basic definition, so first we have to make its real part and imaginary part separately. But here, if you look here, its real and imaginary part is not separated. So first we have to separate it. Second, by this technique you can just solve this question in a one line. If you want to take its modulus, you just take the modulus of this function 3 plus 4 iota and divided by 1 minus 2 iota. So finally modulus is what? The numerator will be separated, right? And in the similar way you can take the modulus of the denominator. So finally you will get what? The modulus of the numerator, that is under root 3 square and plus 4 square. In the similar way in the denominator it is 1 square and plus minus 2 square, right? So finally you will get what? Here you will get 3 square 9, 4 square 16, 16 plus 9 25 under root, that is you will get 5, and in the denominator 1 square 1 and minus 2 square 4. So 4 1 5 under root 5. So finally you will get, once you simplify, you just write root 5 into root 5. So root 5 will be cancelled out and you will get root 5. So by this way first option is correct. Second, you can also apply this basic definition and separate the function, right? This basic definition and separate the function. Now if you want to separate this function or break this function in real and, this is the first way. Second way, you just, you can just make its denominator real so that we can separate into real and imaginary part. So this is the simple function. You can multiply by the conjugate in both numerator and denominator. So you just multiply the conjugate of the denominator and this will be plus 2 iota. So once you multiply in the numerator, right, you simplify and get, you just simplify, multiply these two. So you will get minus 5 plus 10 iota, and in the denominator you can see a minus b, a plus b. So a square and minus b square. Minus b square means 2 iota square. So finally you will get minus 5 plus 10 iota and divided by 1 square and iota square, that is minus 1, and 2 square 4. So minus 4 and plus this become 5. So finally you will get what? Finally you have this total 5, this is 4, so 5. So minus 5 plus 10 iota and by 5. So finally you will get minus 1 plus 2 iota, right? And once you take its modulus, you will get the same result as you have calculated in the first way. So root what? Minus 1 square and plus 2 square. So finally again we get root 5, right? So there has a two way to find out the root modulus of this complex number. Either you directly take its modulus or you can just separate it in the real and imaginary part and then take its modulus. So this second option is correct, right? In the similar way you can solve the other problems also, right? Now one more problem and then I will just discuss about the basic definition of the necessary and sufficient part. So now if you look this question is asked in GATE 2007 in mechanical branch. Now if you look the question, first you read the question. This question is directly from the this Cauchy-Riemann equation basically, or you can say that the analytic function. Now see, here it is given phi x y, phi is a function of x y, and psi, there has a two function basically phi and psi, which is basically function of x y, are function with continuous second derivative. Then it asks about this function. This function means phi x y and plus iota psi x y, right? Psi x y can be expressed as an analytic function. It's the similar problem that we have seen. Fz is equal to what? U plus iota v. It asks about when this function is basically analytic. So you know what? This function is analytic. The necessary condition is what? It satisfies the Cauchy-Riemann equation. Only in place of u it is mentioned phi, and in place of v it is mentioned psi, right? So now you know if it is analytic then it must satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation, and these are the Cauchy-Riemann equation form basically, right? So now you know what? You have seen del u by del x is equal to del v by del y, right? Any function fz is analytic, then it must satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation. So del u by del x is equal to del v by del y, and del u by del y is equal to minus del v by del x. And you can see here only the basic difference between these two is what? In place of u it is mentioned phi, and in place of v it is psi. So you just match it. You can also write like this equation, del phi by del x is equal to del psi by del y, and the second condition is what? In place of u only you can see phi and psi. So the second condition, del phi by del y is equal to minus del psi by del x. Now you just match the option. If you look the first option, it is given del phi by del x. Del phi by del x is equal to del psi by del y, it is given, and here it is given minus. So this cannot be true, right? If you look the second option, del phi by del y, first it include del phi by del y is equal to minus del psi by del x. Yes, this is the second equation of the Cauchy-Riemann equation. Del phi by del y is equal to minus del psi by del x, and this is the first equation, that is del phi by del x. You can see here del phi by del x is equal to del psi by del y. So this option is basically correct. So by the lengthwise this question is looking large, but yes, this question is very easy. So these type of also questions, these type of question are basically asked in recent GATE exam also. I will also solve one by one all these problems. So third is, you know, only one option is correct. Here it is given basically, I will also discuss later on what is basically harmonic function. So it is not harmonic. I will also tell you for the harmonic it must be 0, right? So this is not true and this is also not true, right? Only one option is correct, and this is solved only by using the Cauchy-Riemann equation, right? So any function which is analytic, it must satisfy the what? Cauchy-Riemann equation, and this is the necessary condition. So now next I will tell you what is the sufficient condition that any function that to be analytic. So I think we have already seen what is necessary condition, but here now we see the sufficient condition. Very easy. The necessary and sufficient condition that the function fz, the fz is analytic. The necessary and sufficient condition that this function is basically analytic you know the necessary condition. The necessary condition is what? You have seen the necessary condition, it must satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation, right? So it is already given the necessary condition. Necessary condition is it satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation, that is the equation number 1 and 2. You know what is equation number 1 and 2. Del u by del x, that is equal to del v by del y, and second is del u by del y is equal to minus del v by del x. So these are the two equation of the CR equation, Cauchy-Riemann equation, and for the necessary condition that the function to be analytic, it must satisfy. Now we just move on the second part, that is the sufficient condition. What is the sufficient condition that the function to be analytic? First, the four partial derivative that you have already calculated, del u by del x, del v by del y, del u by del y, and del v by del x. There is a four partial derivative because there is a two function u and v, and all these are basically function of x and y. So first you differentiate u with respect to x, differentiate u with respect to y. In the similar way, v with respect to x and v with respect to y. So we get the four partial derivative, and if it exists and continuous, so this is the first condition, right? So for the in sufficient condition, first the four partial derivative must exist and also continuous, right? It must continuous. देखिए यहाँ पे ये continuity add हो गया. This is the very important part of this analytic function. Even there has a many examples where it satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation, but the function is not analytic. So the Cauchy-Riemann equation is only the necessary part that the function to be analytic. Now if you look the second part, that is the second sufficient condition, it satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation at each point of the domain D. If we talk about the analytic function in a some domain D, then it must satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation at each and every point of this domain D, right? So this is the necessary and sufficient condition that the function to be analytic. In a GATE exam many times these type of things is also asked, so you just careful for these things, right? Now yes, the next definition is partial derivative. This is also very important. Sometime we need to calculate the partial derivative. So let's suppose this is the function f, right? And you know what is partial derivative. Partial derivative means if we differentiate with respect to x, then only we differentiate with respect to x. Rest of the variables are treated as a constant, right? Let's suppose this function f, which is basically function of x and y, and we want to find out the partial derivative with respect to x. So we differentiate this function with respect to x, and it asks about the partial derivative at the point AB, right? At AB. So what you will do? You just take the limit and try to understand. Here the derivative are with respect to x. So we just make it h tends to 0. Very small change in x, that is f a plus h, right? Very small change in a at a point a plus h into comma b minus f a b. We have to find out the partial derivative at a b. So f a plus h comma b, this is function of a and b. So as we are calculating the partial derivative with respect to x, so only the change is occurred in x only. So in the denominator you will just subtract a plus h minus a, so finally you will get h. So this is the partial derivative with respect to x. So this is the equation number 1. In the similar way, if you want to calculate the partial derivative with respect to y, then you just differentiate the function with respect to y at ab. One more important thing, since the change is occurred in y, so we can just take, in place of h, I just take k. Another number which is very closer to 0, k tends to 0, f a comma, now we change in k, a comma b plus k minus f a b. At a b we are finding the partial derivative upon k, right? So this is the definition of the partial derivative, right? So you can very easily find out the partial derivative of any function, right, at any point. So sometimes the gate problem are also based on these partial derivatives. So in the next lecture we will also try to solve the problem based on these, right? So now this is the fifth, yes, 6. So now in this lecture we have seen the problems also, right? Also we have seen what is analytic function, what is necessary and sufficient condition that the function to be analytic. In the next lecture I will discuss about the harmonic function,